Welcome to the Next Dimension Podcast, your portal to an extended reality. Every week we talk about the hottest topics in XR and let you join the discussion live on MRTV. And now, get ready for another exciting episode coming up.
Hi and welcome to episode 14 of the Next Dimension Podcast, your new podcast that's all about VR and AR. And today, finally again, with Tetiana from Disco VR. Tetiana, how are you doing?
Doing great. It's awesome to be back. As always, thank you for having me.
Oh, wow. I'm so looking forward to today's show. Also here with us, Ranthony from VR365. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, ready to go, excited.
Great. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. And you might have to leave a bit earlier. So we're going to put all the exciting topics in the beginning so we can fight about them.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's going to be fun. Also here with us, Steve, VR Flight Sim guy. Steve, how are you doing today?
I'm very well, Sebastian, thank you. It's great to be on the channel. And Seb, how are you today?
Oh, wow, perfect. So smooth.
Great.
Yeah, that was honestly super smooth. I loved it. Yeah. My name is Sebastian Ang. I am the founder of MRTV, and I'm really doing well. I'm so looking forward to today's show because we have lots of amazing, exciting topics. It seems that VR is not dead at all. So we're going to talk about really interesting topics. We're going to talk about the new PlayStation VR2 controller, obviously. Wow, what an exciting device. I'm so looking forward to that. We're going to talk about the Valve Index standalone headset that might be coming out, the patents that have come out. We're going to talk about Facebook research, very exciting Facebook research, and a few other topics that are really, really cool. Yeah, for all of you who don't know this show yet, this show is called the Next Dimension Podcast. It is broadcast live every Saturday at 9 p.m. Berlin. Well, today we got a few problems about this one. 8 p.m. London. And not anymore noon in San Francisco, and not. What about New York? Is it still 3 p.m.? I'm not sure. Where is the daylight savings time in whole America now?
Yeah,
Okay.
It's all changed.
Okay, so not anymore noon in San Francisco, and not anymore 3 p.m. in New York. Now it's 11 a.m. in.
No, 1 p.m. and 4 p.m.
It's
1
already
p.m.
okay. It's 1
Have a
p.m.
show just on this.
Okay, yeah. So Ranthony and Tetiana were waiting for me for 1 hour. Sorry about that. Yeah, here in Germany, it's still 9 p.m. Right. So also this show is on all the podcast providers. So on iTunes, Spotify, Alexa, Google Podcasts, all the good stuff. And well, one thing that you could really do to help us, if you enjoy this show, is to give us a positive 5-star review on iTunes, for example. So get out your iPhone, get out your iPad, open the podcast app, and totally look for the Next Dimension Podcast and give us a 5-star review. This would really, really help us. So why don't you do that now while we talk about our weeks. And now I would like to start with Tetiana. We haven't talked to each other for like 2 weeks or so, or even 3 weeks. So how are you doing? What have you been doing in virtual reality or on your channel on Disco VR?
Very true. I've missed you guys. It's been a little too long that I'm used to. I'm kind of used to being here on Saturdays, but I did have very productive times catching up with work. Although I did play a little bit of VR. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but I did spend some time trying out Flow Weaver, which came out recently, and it's pretty much like if you haven't played it, it's like a fantasy puzzle game where you play as some sort of a wizard, and you can manipulate different realities or planes, and all the puzzles are built on top of these principles that whatever you're changing in one plane or one reality changes something in the other one. And it's kind of hard to wrap your head around it at first because when you're playing something like a room or Myst, you're used to working on these puzzles in the same room. But here, you kind of have to think outside of the box and how your actions are changing what you're doing. So It was really fun. I'm always a sucker for a really good puzzle game. So I've done that. And another thing that I've tried was I went on a side quest and I tried a CPR simulator.
Wow.
I was very impressed by that. So this is what I find amazing in VR. You get this opportunities not just to play, but to learn life-saving skills. And it's not just like you're practicing with a doll, right? It's like this dude just laying in front of you and you're supposed to save his life, and all the tutorials in front of you. At the end, you get the score. It's kind of amazing, and it's scary to not know how to do that. Like I didn't know how to save a life, but I think I might now. So that was really, really cool. That I like that, and I probably will make a longer review of it because I think it's worth it. It's worth spreading a word on really useful apps like that.
Cool, great. Yeah, you can do so many things in VR. It's amazing. That's it.
Yeah, that's my week.
Do you always have to when you give someone CPR in this game? Do you always have a good outcome, or sometimes does it not work out?
No, it can be. It doesn't always work. I mean, if you try well, if you follow that direction, it's kind of easy at first. But there's also like a professional standing there gives you some tips, so you get enough support for it. It's really not that scary. It's probably would be. It gives you actually some confidence that you know what you're doing because you understand what you're doing.
I presume. Sorry, suddenly I'm intrigued by this CPR game for some reason. But just one quick question, and we'll move on. When basically, does it show you how to do it properly? Like, I hopefully it tells you. Like, I think
it's like. Yeah, like when you're pushing it shows you like the scale, like how fast or how slowly you're doing it, and so yeah, it's. I would say it's pretty good. I would say it's doing the job. You should try it actually.
It's just the most random thing. I could never imagine thinking of that as a VR thing, and now I'm thinking, wow, that's crazy.
I was thinking it would have been actually amazing if you could incorporate it, make it something like augmented reality when you do have a doll, because you get the resistance from it, right?
Oh God, yeah.
But then the doll actually has arms and legs, and you're somewhere in the park and not just in a controlled environment. That would make it feel more real, so you can feel what you're doing. That would have been great.
As long as you make sure it is the doll and not someone else, like a bystander by accident, that would be embarrassing.
Exactly.
Yeah,
VR saving lives since 2021. Okay, cool. Tetiana, who are you going to nominate next to talk about the week?
Let's hear from Ranthony.
Yeah, so my week, my VR weeks, I'm still in this like general funk of like video games, and I've just been kind of out of it. But one thing I did do, and this was just last night, is so Bioshock VR, right? We all dream of the day when we could play a legitimate Bioshock VR. Why that has not happened yet boggles my mind to this day. But there is this fan mod for Half-Life Alyx that is out called Return to Rapture. And so the thing is, when it comes to these Half-Life Alyx mods, I've never tried any of them. I know it sounds crazy that I would never, like you got Half-Life Alyx and there's all this mod stuff going on. I just never tried any of them. I have a tendency when it comes to games, I just want to play like the base game, and then some other game comes out, I want to play that game. But like a lot of games will, like the game comes out and then this extra thing comes out for the game and then this other extra thing. And a lot of people like really love that stuff and really get into all these extra things that are coming for one game. But for me, I'm always of this attitude where there's a million brand new games that I haven't touched at all. Maybe I should see one of those. And so a lot of times I miss out on the extras. But I did go into this Bioshock Return to Rapture. I checked it out last night. You have to download 8 different little parts, and then they all, sync together. Tried it out, and at first I'm in there and I'm like, oh my God, this is freaking Bioshock. This looks so cool. It's amazing. It gives you those vibes. And they have some of the visuals are like exactly like Bioshock, and there's a few voice samples. It seems like the voice samples are kind of hit and miss on whether or not they actually got real audio from Bioshock or not. But some of them have like the real audio. And then there's like these other, but then there's like all this Half-Life Alyx stuff that's going on in there as well. Like you hear, it's basically like Half-Life Alyx and Bioshock 1 got squished together and like turned into some new type of thing. And ultimately, the bottom line is this. I'm super impressed with what this guy did. He went above and beyond the Call of Duty to make all of this and go through all this incredible trouble and everything. And a lot of people are ranting and raving about it, saying this is like super legit. You got to try it. Bioshock fans will love it. Ultimately, I played it for like 40 minutes or so, and then I was like, nah, this like mixture of Half-Life Alyx and Bioshock. No, I want real Bioshock. I just want real Bioshock. That's it. And so I'm sorry, as much as the people out there love this thing, I couldn't get into it because you got Half-Life Alyx guys running around that you're shooting at them. And it's like, no, I want real Bioshock.
Is it almost like
All
going
right.
to see your favorite band, but it was like a really rubbish tribute act and it just didn't quite capture it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, but but doesn't the story like go that somehow there's some exciting some treasure that the Half-Life Alyx bad guys want to find in that rapture, so that it doesn't somehow make sense, the story?
Yeah, I suppose I didn't really get that far to like see all of that, but I was just like, what I want is just Bioshock, the original Bioshock in VR.
Yeah,
That's all I want, and I don't want any of the extra stuff. I'm sorry.
Okay. But anyways, I heard from lots of people who love that mod and like all the work that went into it, and it's supposed to be like super impressive. I haven't checked it out myself, but perfect that you did, Anthony. So why don't you tell us for a moment, how can you install it? Is it complicated? How does it work?
It sounds complicated.
Yeah, 8 different parts.
The only weird thing about it is like, because at first I was trying to do this all in my headset. So I was in my headset. I went to Half-Life Alyx, and then you load Half-Life Alyx, and then there's a little thing that says add-on on the menu. You click on that, and then it asks you like, do you want to go to like Steam Workshop for Half-Life Alyx or whatever? You click on that, and then this menu pops up. And it's supposed to load all the most popular add-ons for Half-Life Alyx, and you can choose which one you like and click on it, and it'll start downloading the little pieces of it. But for me, when I was in my headset, it just gave me this big blue menu that never updated. I was waiting like 20 minutes. I went back and checked on. Finally, I was like, F this, I'm going to go to the desktop. And I went and everything just worked perfectly fine on it. It works great on the desktop. So it's better. Just go on your desktop to Half-Life Alyx, the actual page, for your in your library, and then you go to Steam Workshop. It'll show all the different things, and you basically just have to download all 8 individual pieces. I don't know if you absolutely have to, but if you want to play it in a nice way, you're going to want to do that. You download all 8 individual pieces, and then when you get back into your headset, it's pretty much ready to go. You go into I think you go into add-on, or I forget which one you go into to select it and start it, but it was all seamless. It worked great. I should probably try some additional Half-Life Alyx mods. So if anybody has any suggestions for like other Half-Life Alyx mods that are absolute must-tries, maybe after this show, leave them in the comments. We can check it out later.
Yeah, that would be good. So I still have to check out this Bioshock mod. It sounds cool to me, actually. It sounds great. I agree with you. I would love to have a Bioshock VR just by itself, right? It should be amazing. But, well, Bioshock with the Alyx like mechanics, also not so bad, I think. Tetiana, is it something that you would try out?
I enjoy watching people play it.
Okay.
This is something that one of those things, like back in the day when I was watching my brother play all the games that are very atmospheric, it's kind of like for me when I watch horror movies, I can watch the scariest movie you give me. Like there's no scary movie that I wouldn't watch, or any kind of horror movie. But with the games, it's different. And for a lot of people, it's the same way. When you're in control, even just the atmosphere, even if something doesn't straight jump on you and tries to eat your brain, there's something about it. You have to push yourself to get out of the comfort zone, which I might. I'm not closing the door completely. But at the moment, I'm really enjoying listening about it, watching that gameplay. I'm enjoying that atmosphere. There was a movie about it, like a 3D movie maybe. I would have watched it. I don't put myself in control in these kind of games.
Okay, got it. So, Anthony, Are you? That's your week, or do you want to talk about something else?
That's pretty much it. One other thing I will mention is if you go to vrgamerankings.com, one thing I have done is we have like 2 different rankings for Oculus Quest App Lab, one for free and one for paid.
Oh, cool.
And we updated the free one and added all the recent additions. I haven't updated the paid one yet, but if you go to the free one, there's like 24, I think, different free games. We're just doing games and experiences. There's also apps and stuff. We haven't done a list for that yet, but I've tried a lot of the free Oculus Quest App Lab apps, and some of them are pretty crappy, man. Some of them, it's like, I wonder if they should have this like bare minimum level of quality, and you have to like just barely get over that bare minimum. But some of them are very good, and there's cool demos, like, you know, the 1976 Back to Midway game. There's a demo for that now. There's lots of little demos. We're going to be talking later in this episode about some free games that are happening in another part of VR.
Oh,
and
yeah.
But part of me wonders, could there be too much free stuff? But let's wait and talk about
too
that
much free stuff. How is that possible?
Yeah.
Anthony, who is going to talk now next? Is it me or is it Steve?
Let's switch it up and go with Sebastian ahead of time.
All right. Yeah, cool. Yeah. So I did the MRTV stuff, as in I did check out some new VR hardware. This is the Vive facial tracker. We're going to talk a bit in today's episode, and yeah, it's amazing. It works really well. It's pretty fantastic how this piece of hardware can actually track your face and your facial expressions. Costs $129, and you can mod it to all the headsets. I like. Then this is the Deca Move. It's a new little sensor from Megadodo. The company is called Megadodo. It's a great name. And that's the same company that is also doing the Deca Gear that we've talked about before. That VR headset that is wireless, that has the G2 displays, that has the facial tracking and all kinds of stuff. And this is their first piece of hardware. And it's good to see that they came out with a hardware that actually works. And I do believe that puts lots of people at ease who put in like $10 for the Deca Gear to pre-order it, because it seems like they are for real. They are for real, and they really have hardware that's working. Then I played an amazing game that I believe lots of people will super, super enjoy. I have not yet streamed it on my English channel. I've streamed it on the German channel, and it's called Ragnarok. It's amazing. I had such a good time. I love this game. So what is it all about? It's a rhythm game. So you have 2 huge hammers, and you are on a Viking ship, and there's some runes coming at you, and you have to smash them. It's a simple rhythm game, right? And by hitting those drums, the Vikings on that Viking ship, they are like rowing the boat. It's like you're like the slave. I don't know how to say that. The guy who makes the slaves like row the boat. Yeah, and they have like really cool speed metal soundtrack. It's so fun. And it is absolutely amazing. I have to stream that on the English channel as well, and I'm going to do that as soon as possible. But now I couldn't because I have such a muscle sore. Yeah, my muscles hurt so much from hitting those drums like crazy. So Ragnarok, it is on Steam VR, it's early access, and it's everything you will want in VR. Amazing music, simple gameplay, even multiplayer, where you have like a match against others who like, it's a race, right? They're all in these Viking ships, and they're all like hitting those runes. It is amazing. Ragnarok. Did any one of you play this game?
Did you? Well, I actually wanted to ask you, does it feel any similar to the Smash Drums demo game that was on App Labs? Have you tried that one?
I haven't tried it, but this Ragnarok looks way better. I've just seen the other one, how it looks, and it looks just not so good, but this Ragnarok, it looks so beautiful. The Vikings who are rowing like crazy when you hit the drums. Goodness. Have you played that, any of you?
I have not played it, but you know what? The developer of that game, it's Wanadev Studio, and they're the same developers that made Propagation VR, this like free game
Okay.
that like
Oh,
really blew a
really?
lot of people away.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Same developer. How weird
Wow.
is that? Like Propagation VR and then Ragnarok, like they're two completely different worlds.
Wow.
You know.
Guys, you have to play Ragnarok. It's really, really fun. And I will live stream that, and you're going to have a great time watching that live stream. Yeah, that's basically
Cool.
my week. That was my week. And how about you, Steve?
Yeah, well, I'll definitely keep this short, but it's going to be tricky because I've had a crazy week, really. In fact, I've been on the show for about 2 or 3 weeks now. But basically, I'll just quickly say a few Quest 2 things. There's been a beta update recently. If you opt into the beta test channel, particularly for sim users, when the Quest 2 is on link and you're using it for a real high fidelity sim or maybe even a game, I'm finding that the ASW technique, the projection, is much better now. They're a lot smoother. The link, in fact, actually, I've said in my recent YouTube video that right now the Rift S is dead. Quite honestly, I honestly it is now, because the link is so good now. It really is. It's brilliant. I never thought I'd ever say that, but it's got to the point now where it's superb. And once they sort out a few niggling issues, because the moment the beta is locked to 72 hertz, although it's not that much of a big deal, actually. It doesn't seem to be, I didn't mind it. But once they sort a few things out and they release that as firmware, it's going to be a big thing. So that was one thing. VR covers, I actually got myself a VR cover for the Quest 2. I know I'm a bit late to the party on it, but yeah, you guys got VR covers for your Quest 2s. I'm guessing you probably have.
Yeah.
Does
it improve the FOV?
Do you know what? It's 170 degrees.
Yeah, it's now like the Pimax, right? It's like unbelievable.
It's like a Pimax headset now. It's incredible. No, honestly, I was a bit disappointed. I thought it would increase it, but if anything, it's there's no difference at all, really, is there? If anything, it's probably a bit less. I don't know. But
Steve, are you talking just about the facial interface, the VR cover,
the
or
facial
what exactly?
interface with
Just the
with the pad. Sorry, with the obviously the.
But isn't it so incredibly more comfortable, especially when you use the thicker one?
The thicker
I
one,
never
yeah.
had the VR face ever again, but I did have like wrinkles instead.
Oh, really?
So, because of where the foam like bends, it kind of catches the skin a little bit, and every time I take it off, if I play it for over 2 hours, I have like 2 wrinkles. Yeah, like an old lady.
Of course.
I kind of always say it's like a memory foam mattress for your face, isn't it? Like that's how I said it on my
does
review.
feel good.
It literally, as you put it on, it's like, oh, this is so nice. But yeah,
but don't work out with it because it's not absorbing anything, and it's just kind of.
Luckily, I'm really lazy, so I won't have that issue really. But but yeah, so that was cool. Microsoft Flight Simulator has gone absolutely mad. This last 2 weeks, there's been some incredible add-ons. It's really gaining traction now. And behind me, because I'm actually at an airport now, not really, obviously, but that is the new CRJ. It's a complex airliner that basically has been worked on with the Asobo team at Microsoft Flight Simulator and Aerosoft. I've got a couple of reviews on the channel now. It's incredibly complex. It's got an 85-page manual just for the quick start, and then you've got hundreds and hundreds of pages to learn how to operate it. That is probably your guys' worst nightmare, but to us simmers, that makes me feel very happy. So, pretty much not everything's modeled yet, but most of the systems are definitely implemented, and it's something that Microsoft Flight Simulator has needed desperately. So that was great. Loads of other aircraft have been released now. Probably the 2 other ones with the Spitfire. Fantastic. Flying the Spitfire over the White Cliffs of Dover in VR in the HP Reverb. It's absolutely awesome. It's so incredible. And that aircraft you can fly really easy, actually. It's not too difficult. And actually, I had the best flight I've ever had today. I haven't actually used VR much. Sure, you have this problem, Seb. And sometimes when you've got loads of reviews coming in, you're too busy reviewing the thing and you don't actually enjoy VR for yourself. And it's been a bit like that for me recently. So I need to kind of step back from YouTube a bit and just enjoy it for myself. But I must admit, tonight I had like a 20-minute flight. The sun was setting, and I could see like this incredible like lighting effect with the sun going right over this incredible lake. And I was just coming into land, and I was just like, this is awesome. This is so cool. So yeah, it was just one of those moments where it was just like, I am so chilled out, this is just exactly why I spent all this money on a really expensive computer and a VR headset. It was all worth it in that moment. Fantastic.
Wow, it sounds so good, this virtual reality. I should also get a headset.
It's pretty good, this VR stuff, really, isn't it? You know. And just two quick other things, because I'm trying to be as quick as I can. There's a HP Reverb firmware update. I've literally just posted something on my YouTube channel. So if you need a link, go there. And it fixes the audio. I know a lot of people have been having blackouts when the audio gets too loud. The headset isn't able to cope with it, and you get flickering. But this firmware update from HP will solve that. I've tried it, and it seems to be working really good. So that's cool for HP Reverb G2 owners. And maybe just to quickly say that last weekend, I couldn't believe it. I've actually hit 10,000 subscribers. I'm really happy about that.
Congratulations, man. Oh man,
Thank
that's
you.
amazing. 10,000 is a great number.
Congrats.
I can't believe it, really. It's been quite a adventure so far. So yeah, that's been my last 2 weeks, really.
Yeah, man. Soon you're going to be a full-time YouTuber.
I'm not sure I'd ever dare do that, really, to be honest. But yeah,
What?
It's cool. It's good fun.
It's good. Would you like to become a full-time YouTuber?
Yeah, I would love to try it for like 6 months or something.
Yeah,
just as
it's
a bit.
great. I mean, you can hang out with great people. You can have like adult beverages all the time. Like my life is gold.
Yeah, it would be kind of cool. But to be honest, I don't think I'd ever have the bottle to do it. I don't know. I think.
No, you can make it happen.
Yeah.
But in that case, doesn't VR really become like a job? It's just something that Steve has just been talking about.
right,
It becomes
right.
like you're
Good
doing
point.
it. It's like you have to. And I'm not even, I'm not even at 10,000 yet, but I also have that
Will
feeling
be, Dave.
sometimes.
You
Like,
will
I just
get
need
there.
some VR for
Definitely will be
myself.
soon.
Yeah, just a little bit of like outside of VR just to
Right,
enjoy it.
right.
You're
That's
right.
important.
You're right.
No, it's
Because it's
true.
my main job is music related, and I love music. But ever since my sort of career in music, it's kind of when I get home from a day at work, I don't pick up the guitar anymore because I've been playing it all day. So I end up in VR. So if I'm in VR as well as a job, then yeah, I would be stuck. I'd have to like start growing plants or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, if I could make my hobby like my profession, I would be a professional beer drinker, but that doesn't work out.
Tester.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Beer
Steve,
taster.
beer taster, right? I like it. I like where you're going there. Steve, is that your week or anything more?
I've had loads of things I've done, but no, I'll keep it to that. I'll just leave it at that. Yeah.
Okay, all right, cool. That were our weeks, and now let's get into the topics, and let's directly start with the super big topic here, because probably Anthony has to leave a bit earlier, so let's get directly to the juicy parts here. And let's start with the following topic. So, Sony has done it. They have unveiled the next-gen VR motion controller for the PlayStation 5, and probably it's going to be called PlayStation VR 2. We don't know that yet. And these controllers, well, in my opinion, I don't know about you, I think they look really cool. They have this kind of like orb kind of look, kind of round, and I personally like that a lot. And, well, they have the tracking ring. Hope you can see it right now. They have it in the back of the controller, and I believe that's going to help with the balance because, well, if the tracking ring is in front of the controller, you might have some kind of front heaviness, like with the Windows mixed reality headsets. I feel they are a bit more front heavy than, for example, the Oculus Touch controllers. But this kind of setup, it's nice and it gives you more balance. That I would believe. Then also exciting. Oh no, normal is the button layout, because the button layout is more like it's a standard button layout, right? It's the thumbstick, it's two buttons, it's a menu button, just the same like what we know from Oculus Touch, and it's kind of the industry standard right now. And I believe that's cool because, well, developers don't really have to change much if they want to port to PlayStation VR 2, so that's cool. But now one thing, which is really the killer feature, that's how I called it in my video when I did a video about it, is the adaptive trigger. Now, the adaptive trigger is a trigger that has some kind of force feedback. For all of you who have the PlayStation 5, like I'm one of the lucky people who have it, in my opinion, the most amazing thing about the PlayStation 5 is the controller, because the trigger is so cool. It feels different. The developers can totally change how the trigger feels depending on the weapon that you use, right? So you can make it feel different, and to have that in virtual reality where you see that weapon, the different weapons, and then you can feel the trigger change. Wow. That is going to be friggin' amazing. That's what I think, at least. We're going to discuss this. Probably there's other opinions about it, but I think this is going to be fantastic. Yeah, other than that, we have a grip button and a menu button and a share button here, like a creator button that probably is the same button where you can directly stream to YouTube and to Twitch, which I really miss on the Oculus Quest, honestly speaking. So that is the PlayStation VR2 controller. And now I'm looking forward what you think of it. What do you think of it?
I want to say something real quick, just to get it out of my system, because when I was also making a quick review, also put it on my channel. Where first, I want to speak to the ergonomics. I wish I could hold them right now. It really makes me want to just try them, because they have this nice curve where your palm goes that I can't actually feel it, but it's almost like I can feel how comfortable it is, especially when you're comparing it to this stick. Just a flat stick with a straight line, not ergonomic at all, not very comfortable. So I love that. And as for the responsive trigger, so I teach one of the classes that I teach at the university is an online class on emerging technologies. And one time we were talking about the VR and AR and which one they thought it would be more impressive or more influential to their lives. And one of the students is blind. And he said that VR is definitely going to have a huge impact on his life, because in AR, stuff is building on top of the real world, and I can't see the real world. But the VR now has the potential of talking to all these different senses that go beyond just visuals, like the haptics and sometimes even the sense of smell, the surrounding audio. And I kept thinking about, wow, imagine, I can already see this. You try to grip something in VR, and these gives you the exact feedback based on that you're touching, you're grabbing or throwing, and it's only going to be getting better. And it really made me so hopeful about how this technology can become more and more accessible, even to people who are visually impaired. And I thought this was absolutely tremendous progress, and I really can't wait to see it working and improving in the future.
Wow, yeah, totally agree. I also think this is going to be really the killer feature, that you can feel things, how they feel, what kind of resistance they have when you touch them and all this kind of stuff. And to have this in a mainstream headset that so many people are going to use, that is pretty exciting. How about Anthony and Steve? What do you think about this device?
I could probably be quick, because honestly, I don't really mind.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I guess.
Wait a moment. We have lost the connection now to YouTube.
Oh.
Wait a moment. Oh, that sucks.
Oh dear. How's that happened?
I don't know. We're coming back now.
Oh, it's back.
Okay, now you can go ahead, Steve. Sorry, we have just lost the connection to YouTube.
Sony's trying to censor me. That's what's going on here.
Yeah.
I know what their game is. Maybe Tony should go first, actually. I don't want to jinx it. Tony, go for it.
No,
honestly.
Steve, just do it.
Well, basically, from a guy who's has no interest in buying a PlayStation 5, I thought
you're going to buy it too.
Thoughts.
Yeah, you're going to buy it too. Yeah.
For me, this feature is not enough for me to go and buy one. Personally, it's great. It sounds really nice. Haptic feedback version 2, brilliant. But I mean, how good is it going to be? I'm not totally convinced by that yet. Although from a sort of shooter point of view, I love VR shooters. I love the idea of the trigger. Having different sort of. I guess it will have is it force feedback? I'm guessing.
Yeah,
so
right. They can do different things with the trigger. It can feel hard. Yeah. It can feel easy. It's amazing.
I mean, is it just the trigger that has this particular feel, or is it like the whole?
Just the trigger, but the device itself also has like haptic feedback, as in like vibration. But that vibration is also more more sophisticated than just vibration.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm confused, because
right.
how, haptic feedback. I mean, there's only so far that can go unless you're using different technology. And if it is the same technology, it's just going to be different vibrations, isn't it? It's going to be slightly different.
High def rumble, like in the Nintendo Switch. Remember? High definition rumble.
It's great, but I think. But in terms of the control itself, it looks really futuristic. Actually, the rings. It's not just about the tracking for me. I think it's great because you're not going to clout them on the side of your wall. If they're going to be this end, hopefully, you'll still probably hit the controller, but the rings are always the ones that get the, all the bashing and stuff. And my poor Quest 2 controllers have been bashed around already because of that. So I think that's quite good from an ergonomic point of view as well. But really, I just think, and I think it's a uniform, like you said, Seb, the actual, it's going to make it easier for the developers to port over their games because they're going to have that same button layout. So it's just those little things, and to me they are little things really. Well, compared to the PS1 controllers, it's a massive upgrade. But in terms of the whole sphere of VR controllers, I'm not so like wow about it as you guys are. If I'm honest, but
you're also going to get it. Believe me, I have a good feeling about it.
Well, they did have some catching up to do in terms of the controllers. Because how old were the controllers? Like 10, 11 years old?
From the PlayStation 3 area. Exactly.
I bought them like a month ago still. So they tried to catch up to follow the standard in terms of the buttons layout, but keep their signature cross, triangle, square, and circle. And and also the rings seem to be big enough for any like hand sizes. I remember we were talking about some other controllers that had super tiny rings that we couldn't really imagine how they would fit. Don't think that there would be any problem with that either.
Right. Anthony, come on, give us the rant. Give us the rant.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there's good things to say about these controllers. I do have a couple of negative things to say. And like when I first saw these controllers and I first read about them, I immediately went to the negative side of the coin. And the reason why is because when you hear specific announcements of certain aspects of these controllers, it lets you know where their technology is going forward. And there is one thing that actually does disappoint me about these controllers. Okay, so going back a number of months or maybe like a year or so ago, there was this patent that Sony had where it looked like they were really trying to copy the Valve Index controllers. And I was incredibly worried by this because I've always made this argument. Like the main thing about the Valve Index controllers, like grabbing the thing and letting go of the thing and grabbing the thing, like I think that is one of the weakest gimmicks ever. I think it doesn't really work well at all. And I am so incredibly thankful that these controllers actually have like a grip button rather than the Valve Index idea. Look, the Valve Index idea is great in a boardroom, but in actual reality, it is weak sauce like none other. So I'm really glad that they avoided that. I'm also glad that this thing has a proper number of buttons, because if we remember the Samsung Bug-O-Vision headset, which has still never made an appearance, and we saw these new Samsung controllers that looked really crazy, they didn't have enough buttons. And so it's always a critical error if you bring out a controller that doesn't have enough buttons. So it has the necessary buttons. That's good. I'm excited about the triggers. I have not tried a PlayStation 5 whatsoever, and I have not experienced these incredible new triggers that are on the controllers. And look, I'm legitimately interested in that. And also the haptics, like what Steve was talking about here, I believe there are lots of improvements that could be made in the rumble that we have in the current controllers that we have right now. Like for example, the Oculus line of controllers, the Oculus Touch 1, the first Quest and Rift S controllers, and then these new ones here. Like, I don't think the rumble on any of these are particularly fantastic. In fact, honestly, the old school PlayStation Move, busted Move controllers that people complain about actually have a very strong rumble. And in certain games, I can almost get even more of an immersion because their rumble is simply more powerful. Now, these batteries last forever and a day, and I'm sure that's part of the thinking there. So there's a trade-off. But what I'm trying to say here is there's a lot of good things about these new Sony controllers. But one big negative that does jump out at me is the finger, the sensing of the fingers, okay, which is something that the first Oculus Touch had and the Quest controllers have, and it's something that the Valve Index has. This idea where it has these little sensors that can tell if your fingers are resting there or not. That disturbed me when I found out about that on these controllers. And here's the reason why. When Sony is going to make this as a peripheral to the PlayStation 5, it is locked to the PlayStation 5. The PlayStation 5 has a certain lifespan that it is going to have. And this peripheral, this PlayStation VR2, it's chained to it. It's anchored to it. And it's going to have the same kind of lifespan that the PlayStation 5 is going to have. So when Sony releases PlayStation VR2 in November 2022, it's going to need to have a 4-year lifespan. It's going to have to be viable all in 2023, 2024, 2025, even 2026. And then you might get a new headset after that with the PlayStation 6. So Sony is in a different world than every other manufacturer out there because they're the only ones that have this extended lifespan that they have to deal with. And they have to think incredibly carefully. They have to actually anticipate things ahead of other companies because Facebook is coming out with a new Quest every 14 to 18 months. So if they forget about something critical, they can always fix it with the next one. No big deal. With PlayStation VR2, what you get, you're going to be locked down with for 4 years. Okay, so what am I talking about here? What I'm talking about is hand tracking and controller tracking and the mixture of the two. I envision a scenario very, very soon with future Quest headsets where you put on a Quest, it can track your hands perfectly. You grab the controllers, it can track the controllers perfectly, and it can track your hands perfectly simultaneously. Yeah. So you could be playing a game. I
can't quite follow you here.
Okay, so what I'm saying here is like we should have the ability. Like right now, the Oculus Quest cannot track your hands and the controller simultaneously. So it's either one or the other. It can't do like one controller, one hand.
But why would you want to do that? If you hold the controllers, then your hands are on the controllers, and then the capacitive touch knows what you're doing on the controllers.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is once we get to the point where that limitation is gone, where it can track your hands and the controllers in any combination, whether you have your hands on the controllers or not, it can still track them, and it can still track the controllers. This future is absolutely coming, and my complaint is in the year 2024, people are going to be like, someone's going to go over to someone's house with a PlayStation VR2, and they're going to be like, oh, this can't track both hands and controllers at the same time? Oh, gee, my Quest 4 does it with no problem. So it's a
honestly,
very minor
I must
thing.
totally disagree with you.
Thing. What?
Let's fight.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna get the popcorn. Is that right?
Yeah. I totally don't see this to be an issue. Like, why would I want to track? Like, one hand is the controller and one hand.
Seamlessness. It's a lack of any frustration.
I really don't
it's
see
like
it.
ease of use. So you've never You've never played a hand tracking game where you're like, oh, I've got the controller. Oh, now this is a hand tracking game. I'm putting my controllers down and it has to like switch modes.
No.
I want pure seamlessness. I want a lack of friction. When you put a VR headset on, you should be able to put the headset on. It should immediately track your hands. Whether you have one controller in one hand, it should be able to track everything. And this future is happening. People have asked Oculus, like they said, oh, you can't track both the controllers and the hands at the same time. And they said, no, we're not able to do that right now, but we're working on it. And this headset, this PSVR2, is a 2022 launch, late November. Look, I'm not saying this is like a make it or break it feature.
I
I'm
really
not
don't
saying
get the
this
point.
is mission critical. Okay, there's more to VR than just games. There's more to VR than just
but
games.
not for PlayStation. So I think for the
There
PlayStation,
should be. There should be.
I don't think so.
But
PlayStation
Anthony,
VR
but
is about gaming, and I want controllers. I don't want just hand tracking. For me, I want to have the weapon in my hands. I want to feel it. So I don't get this point. I want to ask.
It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Like,
okay.
It's not a make it or break it thing, but it
Right.
disappointed me. When I saw that, I'm just disappointed. Whenever I hear somebody say, oh, we're going to do this like capacitive tracking for the fingers, that just tells me your technology isn't up to snuff. You can't track hands and controllers simultaneously. And if you're telling me like 7 years from now, we're not going to have headsets that can track controllers and hands simultaneously, I'm going to say you are out of your mind, because absolutely we will, because it's just pure frictionless. There's no stopping and starting. There's no, oh, I need this or I need that. It's just going to seamlessly track everything.
Okay, Anthony,
Yeah.
I think you're the only person who found that kind of nitpick. I really think you're the only person.
You need to be critical. We need to
Of
find
course,
the
I like
things
to.
that we
I love
always
to.
have to
I love
challenge
to be
them.
critical and to challenge things, but for this particular thing, I really don't think that anyone other than Anthony is going to be unhappy that it cannot track your hands and your controller. So I would,
not
I
a
would,
big deal.
I know.
It's not a
it's really
big
not.
break
It's really
deal.
not. So I want to know from our audience: do you also agree with Anthony on this nitpick? If yes, write Team Anthony. If you think that nobody will care about it, please write Team Sebastian. I really want to know what's going on there.
But let's do the same poll in 2025 when it's a freaking standard feature on every headset everywhere but the PlayStation VR2.
But you talk about seamlessness transfer between the controller and the hand tracking, but this I don't
even
even
doesn't
know
have
if
hand
it's going
tracking.
to have any hand tracking
exactly.
at all.
Exactly.
So at this point, it's like.
And that would be a
That would be
major
even-
failure. That would be
I
a
think-
major failure.
I don't think
Would
so.
it
Yeah.
be so, the tracking, you wouldn't need haptic feedback. You wouldn't need the control to know where your hands are, because it will be done by the hand tracking. Is that what you mean? So that your hand, it will know where it is on the buttons based on the hand tracking, not the actual sensors in the controller.
Exactly.
Yeah, that
it'd
makes
it'd be totally unnecessary.
I think that, I kind of get that. I think.
Yeah, Team Sebastian, I win. There's one guy saying it. No, but I'm kidding.
It's
here.
all right. It's
No.
all right. I
Steve,
mean, it's
yay.
a
Yeah,
forward
there's Team
future
Anthony.
idea,
Here's Team
like,
Anthony. You
people aren't
see?
gonna get
Cheers.
Well, I think it's
God.
still important to kind of,
Cheers, mate.
remember that
Team
it's,
Steve.
it's
There's
the
Team
stage-
Steve.
But this is what we have now, right? It still can change. So the design we see right now is
Team
not set in
Tetiana.
stone. If I understand it, yeah, well, I'm. Yeah, they created a team for me. I didn't even start a team.
Oh,
They just
there's another Team
created-
Tetiana. Wow, Tetiana, you're winning without even fighting. That's the best way to go for it.
That's the best
It's the
kind of
jellyfish.
fight.
It's the jellyfish.
It's a
I'm
jellyfish, yeah.
I know. I also have
I
a
don't
cat
really
right
care.
there, but he's just sending me the vibes. I don't know if you can see him.
doing. She's just listening. She's writing everything down.
It's a he.
Oh, he, sorry. Oops.
Yeah, but
I don't
coming
really
back
care
to
about hand tracking either that much, but it's like if you're going to have a VR headset that is going to be viable in 2023, 2024, 2025, we got to also understand, people, that like if this is just limited to hardcore gamers, if VR is always just limited to hardcore gamers, it's not going to go nowhere, man. And Sony, one thing that Sony hasn't done very well with the PSVR up until this point in time is you go to their store and it is all games. They have very few little experiences. And look, I know they're catering to PlayStation 4 owners
It's
and hardcore
games.
But you're telling me it's
PlayStation
not,
is games. It's all about games.
Of course it is. But you're telling me that there's no PlayStation VRs that are in a living room with an entire family that occasionally uses it? Only one person uses it, period, in the entire family. Is that what you're telling me? Because I disagree with that. I don't think that's actually true. I think a lot of people share devices.
That could be happening, but they're playing games, and the PlayStation brand is just so laser focused on gaming, and I think that's great. That's their business model, right? It's about gaming, making games, and it's totally different from the Facebook business model. I don't want to get into this again, right? But you know what I'm talking about, right? So yeah, for me it makes sense, and I think for me, like the Quest 2 has great finger tracking. It does have. I really like it, but there's not one game that I play with finger tracking on my Quest 2. So
the Witch thing, that's cool.
Yeah, okay.
You should try to learn how to play the piano.
Cubism is supposed to be really good with hand tracking now.
Virtuos. You can play the piano with your fingers. That's the best application I saw.
Cool. Yeah, but it's good to have some controversial thoughts about it. But one other thing, let's go back to that controller. One thing that we can also see from the controller, and let me get it here into the picture for all the people who are watching this right now. Let's find it again. Here it is. So okay. One thing that we don't see here for the controller is that huge ping pong ball that we have on the Move controllers and on the PSVR aim controllers. And that tells us that obviously they have changed their tracking method. They're not using the ping pong ball anymore. Great, thank you, Sony. But instead they're using a different kind of tracking method. And I put it out there, and I put it out in my video. I believe that this is an inside-out tracking method, very similar to what we see in the Quest. I believe that this ring here is full of infrared lights, and we cannot see those infrared lights, but cameras are going to pick that up just like the Quest is doing it for the Quest 1 and Quest 2, and I believe we have the same kind of tracking mechanism. Would you agree with me on that?
Absolutely. I think they say it very explicitly when they say that the VR controller is tracked by the new VR headset through the ring. So I think
you're right,
Tetiana.
You're right.
Yeah, that's
they admit it.
I'm happy about it.
Yeah, me too. This is going to have great tracking. I'm sure they're going to nail the tracking. They're not going to have some blunders like the Cosmos. It's going to be perfect. I'm sure it's going to be as good as the Quest 2 for sure.
I do think one omission is obvious to me. I mean, I'm sure, VR covers will do something about it, but there's no strap.
Yes.
It's a shame.
That's a good point. That was the only thing that I didn't like about this. I thought, why not put the strap? I love the strap. I love the strap on my Valve Index, right? So you can throw grenades, do all kind of thing, grab something without needing to grab the controller itself. So I love it. And I have modded it onto my Quest controller as well. I love that feature. Anthony, what do you think about that?
What do you mean, like this?
No strap.
The thing is with the whole Valve Index thing, like this idea that you're going to be holding your hands like this and you're going to be I don't agree with that whole entire idea. Wow. Like, give me a grip button or give me death.
No. I just mean like the strap that if you want, you can open your hands.
Need that?
Yeah. For example, you want to throw something and you don't want to throw away the controller. For me, it works perfectly. I really like it.
Yeah. Well, if it is something like an accessory, I mean, it just feels like it's something you would buy as an extra. Why would they? The wrist straps that came with Quest 2, I used them for a couple of days and then I just switched to something that like grip. But that's a third party. That's not a part of the design, right? So the design of these controllers, I'm sure it will make it really difficult for the third-party resellers or whoever to create some kind of solution for really comfortable grip. I don't even know how they would do it, but I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will find a way.
Of course.
And I don't think that was worth mentioning for the design of the actual controllers.
There's only one reason why I would not want a strap on the controller. In fact, I haven't got them yet, so please let me know, Seb, where to find them for the Quest 2.
VR cover.
Is it VR cover again? Yeah. They're the game guys, honestly.
They are really good.
They are good. But
they are good.
I don't know.
For instance, for me, for flight simming, of course, I don't want a controller attached to my hand because I'm flying. I'm using a yoke, so I like to pick it up and do whatever I need to do, put it down again, and do that. But for everything else, game-wise, I really do want that strap on, because it's just sometimes I get fed up of holding the controller. So sometimes I hold it too firm because I'm too frightened of dropping it or something, or because of the experience is quite intense. So you kind of like grip like this when you could just literally let go and know that they're going to be there when you grab them again. I think that's the standard now. It's got to be there.
I really think so too. It's also like very relaxing. For me, it's like relaxing. I don't need to like hold them the whole time. I can really let go, and they're still there without like falling to the floor.
But it looks like they have straps, at least in the very first image.
Just the wrist strap? The wrist
strap.
strap. They're talking about a different kind of strap, though.
That's right, but Quest, for example, doesn't come with grip either. It's all the third party. So
yeah, but the third party, but it makes them so much better. In my opinion, those third-party grips, I really love it. So I want to know from our audience, do you like this kind of strap that will like connect the controller with your hand, or do you prefer like the Oculus Touch kind of style where you don't have that? Please
touch one, baby.
Please let me know.
Touch one.
Please let me know. Like if you prefer it, say yes. If you don't prefer it, say no. And I would like to know what you guys think. Interesting. Also interesting about the new PlayStation VR2 controller, the color black. So probably we're not going to see a white PlayStation VR2, right? What do you think?
I mean, it's a prototype. Like these are like pictures. Like these are like CGI images of it practically. So I don't know for sure, but yeah, probably. I mean, well, of course, PlayStation 5 is white, but normally Sony doesn't do white very often, right?
Yeah, for the
They're
PlayStation
kind of
VR, they did, yeah.
I hope they sit on your desk properly, because I hated that about. Was it the Rift S controllers that didn't quite? They were like they rock, I want it to sit on my desk flush with on the table, and so that way it just sits there. I'm trying to be as picky as possible.
Right.
But, so the ring, because obviously the design, because it looks a very complicated design. The only thing I would be frightened to hell. Yeah, it looks like they could break, because the way that the plastic, obviously is plastic, it's gonna be, is.
Yeah, I wonder how
twisted.
Rigid. Like how rigid is it? Is it solid? Is it bendable?
It looks pretty solid.
Against the wall. Would that? I just can imagine one of those little contact points of that, design would just break.
I don't think. I was just
going
to say, I don't think it's very sexy. Like one thing about PlayStation VR 1, like PlayStation VR 1, you see pictures of people playing PlayStation VR 1. They look like they're in the future, especially like if it's a relatively dark picture and they're like lit up with all these lights, and even the giant glowing lights on the moves and stuff, even though the moves are ancient as hell, like it does look futuristic for some reason. It kind of looks cool when you see people playing a PlayStation VR like at a trade show or something. These things, like these controllers, I mean, they might be great, they might be super ergonomical, and they might function absolutely perfectly, but just from an absolute look of like somebody playing a PlayStation VR game, like some people might be like, oh, those controllers look really goofy, man. But I mean, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal to me, but I'm just like, you think
Anthony,
these look really sexy?
Anthony, today we are on a how to say that, on a confrontation course. I think they look really amazing, actually. I think they are beautiful. I think they look futuristic, this kind of round shape. And if you look at them right now, they do look a bit like a string.
I think of Hannibal Lecter, like that thing covering Hannibal Lecter's face.
I have a different problem with this, though. I like the design just from the design perspective, but from the practicality, let me show you what I have with my Quest controller. So I don't use VR cover because I'm using these third party that have a little strap here, but they also have this silicone cover that goes around the entire ring because that protects it from any kind of damage of the walls, like makes it softer, right? From the
Is that the same thing, Tatiana? Is that the ring comes with the strap as well?
Yeah, yes,
That's
exactly.
cool.
That's why I bought them, because it's like 2-in-1, and that's the only reason I didn't go with VR cover, because it only had a grip. It didn't have the protection.
Cool.
So
I like that.
With this, I have no idea how you would design some kind of cover that would go around all these funky curves and futuristic design. It looks cool, but a little bit impractical just from the safety perspective, because I bang stuff all the time, and I probably would have done some damage already if I didn't have this. Like, I love it. And that's how I'm going to take care of all the controls of all VR set that I have. I just don't know what kind of solution these controllers will have. I'll have to see.
You know what? I don't think these are going to break easily because it doesn't seem like there's like one part which would like easily break. Like for the Windows Mixed Reality controllers, yes, there's this part. It looks like not so good, like it could easily break, but this is like one round shape, and like round things are normally very stable. I don't know. That's
Sebastian,
true.
You don't know if it's going to be
right.
You don't know if it's going to be a single thing. Maybe you just don't see the seams because it's 3D rendered.
Could be. Just that's why I'm saying, like, from what I see, it seems to be like this one round shape, and this normally would be very stable. We have to wait for that to happen. But I think Sony really knows how to design things that will not break directly, right? They have so much experience with all these controllers. So yeah, I think these look really cool, and I'm so much looking forward to them. Yeah, do we finish the topic, or is there anything more to say about those?
Well, one last thing I'll say about it is, honestly, the most important thing about this entire deal is seeing these controllers, seeing the design of them, seeing the announcement happening now, and like this like slow ramping up of like VR on PlayStation. So I tweeted this out like yesterday or something, but NeoGAF, there's a website called NeoGAF. There's a lot of hardcore long-term gamers that are on NeoGAF, and they're not necessarily VR fans at all. In fact, a lot of them would just love VR to freaking die already. They actually actively hate VR because they feel like VR is taking away, like companies only have so many resources, and the fact that they're wasting time with VR is like infuriates them, right? So they were all on NeoGAF talking about these controllers because they're like, why does Sony care about VR? And then everybody was like jumping in there and explaining why Sony cares about VR. But the bottom line here is this is great for the VR gaming industry. You know, a rising tide lifts all boats. And this shows that Sony is committed to VR. They're sticking with VR. We've got more Sony news and future topics in today's show. And that's really the biggest thing of this whole thing. Like, this is really happening. It's really going to be a next gen PSVR2, and that's exciting.
That is super exciting. Anthony, do you believe that the PlayStation VR 2 could be somehow connected to the PC and play PC VR games?
I mean, maybe like the Sony PC VR, the Sony PC games, like how they put Horizon Zero Dawn or whatever on PC. You know how Sony's putting some of their games on PC. I could see that. I don't really see them like wanting to hook up with Steam or something.
Yeah, right. Because they want to sell their own games, obviously, right? That makes sense, right? Yeah.
For me personally, like I'm just going to jump in quickly. Sorry, but just to say, because I'm from a point of view that I have no interest in buying a PlayStation 5, so I think there's going to be people out there. It would have to take a monumental game or some sort of incredible ecosystem for me to go, oh my God, I've got to have a PlayStation 5 with VR. And these controllers, they don't excite me enough to go, I want one now.
Okay,
I do like them.
I'm going to review it. I'm going to review it. Then you're going to watch my review, and then you're going to go, oh, shit. Oh, damn. That looks kind of good. Oh, okay, I'm going to jump in.
I'll at least £10, I won't buy one.
Okay. Yeah, cool. So these are the PlayStation VR 2 controllers. Very exciting stuff. And the next topic, we're still here with PlayStation, with the Sony PlayStation VR, because, well, let's have a look at this. Play at Home 2021 update. 10 free games to download this spring. Wow. And there's amazing games which you can get for free. You do not have to be a PlayStation Plus member. So everyone who has the PlayStation 4 Pro, 5 can get these games for free. And there are like amazing VR games. Let me tell you that. So let's scroll down a bit. We're not going to talk about the 2D games. We're going to talk about the VR games. And starting from 25th of March, everyone with the PlayStation 4 Pro or 5 can get Astrobot Rescue Mission for free. Just like that. And Astrobot Rescue Mission is one of the best VR games, hands down, in general. For me, my personal taste, I love this game. It's such a nice platformer. They're so creative. It's so cute. It's like, I love it. Do you also love it?
Yeah, it makes me so happy that I just bought PlayStation VR. Like
Right,
I was,
right.
I
Of
was
course,
wondering,
yeah,
like,
you
should
have.
I get it? Should I not get it? So old, the new one's coming soon, and then it got announced, and like, yeah, jokes
Of
on you,
course, of
Tatiana.
course.
But it makes me really happy that these games are coming out. Like it makes it
For
worth
free.
it.
For free.
Yeah,
That's
the best
crazy.
part.
And then not only Astral Rescue Mission, also Moss. Moss is also one of my all-time favorites. It's so cute. Like this kind of not first-person view, but third-person view works so well in VR. And if you have not played Moss yet, the listener or the person who's watching this live stream now, please get it. It's free on the PlayStation VR, starting from 25th of March, which is in 5 days. It's amazing. Do you like Moss?
Yeah, Moss is awesome. This is a great deal. It's, this also brings me to this discussion though of like, why? Like, why are they giving so many of these games away? Also, you have games like Paper Beast, which isn't that old. Like Paper Beast is a relatively
really
recent game. And so for them to like give all these things away, I guarantee you they've got to do a deal with like Pixel Reef, the developer of Paper Beast, and with like Monstars and Enhanced Games, developers of Res Infinite, and Drool, developer of Thumper, and all these studios that made these games, because you give all these games away for free. What are the chances anybody's ever going to buy these games in the future because everybody got them free? So they have to give these developers some kind of kickback to do this. But one of the things so this is great for consumers. I mean, this is incredible for consumers. On March 25th, you could go to your local Craigslist, find somebody that has a PlayStation VR for like $100 because they're out there. Trust me, I sold my PlayStation VR and barely got $100 for it, unless it's changed recently. This is the way it was. And you could buy one on March 25th for dirt cheap, and then just download these 5 games and play to your heart's content. And if you get PlayStation Plus, you've also got like Farpoint and something else that came out recently. Right. So you could have a smorgasbord of great content. But my question is like, and this goes to like Oculus App Lab with all the free App Lab demos and everything. At some point, is there too much free stuff? It's great for us as a consumer, but if you're a developer trying to sell games and people are just downloading unlimited free things that are occupying their time,
right?
I mean, I don't know. I'm always going to the negative here. But
if it was unlimited, of course, but it's just a few games you have to play. You have to have the PlayStation VR, right? So it's not going to affect the whole universe of VR game developers. No, I think it's just amazing if you have a PlayStation VR 1. Then you're going to have a great time playing these games. And Moss is just so good. It's really a must-have. So that's
because
German.
It's great
from the
for
German
consumers.
community.
That was a good joke. That.
That wasn't even mine. That was from the German community. Somebody did it. It's really a must-have game. And then there's Thumper, which is like a rhythm game, like a cool rhythm game. I also like it. It works perfectly well on the PlayStation VR. And yes, Paper Beast also for free. And I love Paper Beast. It's just such a creative game. Looks beautiful, especially on the PlayStation VR with that OLED screens. Yes. So the PlayStation VR 1 is not dead. And if you do have the PlayStation 4 for Pro or 5, do go to Craigslist, eBay, or wherever. Get that $100 PlayStation VR like Tetiana did and have a fantastic time. Right, Tetiana?
Right. I was going to say that with these games, well, they're always giving away games that are not exactly new, but good. So most people or most gamers that are playing on at least semi-regular basis might already own most of these games. So it could be just a way to like, hey, we're still awesome. Like, look at that. Look how awesome we are. Play these games and buy the new PlayStation VR when it comes out. So it could be like all in one.
I think I'm just going to say like the obvious thing here, that if you're not into VR or you're new to it, this is the most incredible thing you could do. You could literally go and buy a really cheap, because I presume they are cheap, like Anthony said now. And most people have got a PlayStation 4. I mean, they have, like pretty much all my friends have, apart from me. So, it's a great way to get into VR, a very cheap way to get into VR. yeah, it's great, really. So yeah, like it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So this is happening. Lots of amazing free games, and simply pick them up. Get a PlayStation VR. It's still worth it. There's still some time before the PlayStation VR2 is coming out. So PlayStation VR 1, absolutely, still a great thing to check out. All right. So PlayStation, so they're really doing something. They're really like pushing the platform once again at the end of its life, and go for it. Next topic. I think Anthony and Tetiana are very excited about this one. So it's about Facebook research. And let me share my screen. It's about like something that you would put on your wrist. It's not a watch, but it's something that could track the nerves, I believe, right? And it can, based on the nerve, or I don't know how to
neural
say that.
Signals.
The neural
signals.
That's exactly what I want to say. The neural signals that
about
go
to get
from your brain to your hands. It can somehow deduct how you're moving your hands without optics. It's really just checking out your wrist and the signals that come from your brain to your muscles in your hand. It can completely check out what your hands are doing. And before we talk about this, I simply want to show you how that looks like. It is pretty fascinating. So let's have a look at this. I think you see my screen now. So on the left, you see that real hand and that device, that wrist device. And on the right, you see how that signals are measured and actually how accurate that is. That is like pretty mind-blowing, right? What do you guys think?
It does look amazing. It's you can see like the one-to-one sort of. There's no obviously lag or anything like that. It just looks very natural. So I'm doing this now. I'm looking at it and doing it with my own hands.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So it's so revolutionary when you compare it to the technology that hand tracking used in the past, but it all relies on the camera, the quality of the camera, the quality of the lighting, and then you constantly lose the tracking if one of those things is not on par. And here it's completely flipped, and it goes not from the outside, from the inside, reads your brain, those neural signals. And at least what the article says is that it can be as precise as, I don't know, up to the millimeters, the precision of the movement of the hands. But the point that blew my mind is that you don't even always have to move your fingers. You can think about moving your fingers and it's going to move it because you have already sent the signal.
Oh my God, really? That's unbelievable.
Yeah, you can like move your hand over here. I think that's what the guy's doing in the video, that he can just move his hand here and he's thinking about moving his fingers or like pressing the button and the little man is jumping.
I'll be like trying to trick it and go, I'm going to try and move my thumb, but I'm not really going to move it. And try and like, cheat and it won't work and it'll be all weird and my hand will go like that.
That's another huge leap for the accessibility of VR technology. Right. Huge leap. It blew my mind today, really.
It's fantastic.
I can see that being integrated in like a bit of almost like a wristband for a controller eventually. So it'll be like really small, like maybe in the Quest 50 or something. Yeah. But probably be here quite soon, where you'd actually get like, that little wrist thing to kind of put on your wrist. You won't even know it's doing it.
And that would be the way to satisfy Anthony's wish to merge those things.
Yeah, exactly. This should be in the PlayStation VR2, for God's sakes.
I've solved it.
Yeah.
Okay, guess what, though, guys? Guess what? I think this is an epic fail. Okay, and here's why. I'm going to tell you why.
Anthony he's really angry today. He wants to shut us down
fail,
here.
Guys.
What?
So at one point in the video, it shows a lady doing this with like a bow and arrow thing where she lets go she's doing a bow and arrow motion, right? I want you guys to look at that video at that part where she's doing this, because she's wearing a ginormous thing on her left wrist and a ginormous thing on her right wrist. And it's not happening, bro. It's not happening. I don't see people putting. Have you seen how ginormous and bulky these things are? That you the idea is incredible.
It's not so terrible though.
The idea is amazing, but way too freaking bulky. Way too. So I'm going to
What?
just tell
This
you.
is just a small thing. You know what? The chief scientist who's
is
been working on
huge.
this for 5 years is watching this live stream right now, and Anthony's going on. This is an epic failure.
Sorry. Epic
Tears
fail.
everywhere. Like what, Anthony? How can you shoot this down? This
Look at how ginormous this thing is.
this thing is like reading your brain signals, man. This is like unbelievable. Like,
Great.
look,
It's reading
this
your
is a
brain signals,
huge
but at what
failure.
cost? Your forearm, you're going to have Popeye forearms after
Wow.
about 2 weeks of using this thing. And you got to have one on each arm. If you're playing a game where you got to use both hands, like that lady pulling a bow, one on each arm, you'll notice that in this trailer, they only show it on both arms one time when they have to, because otherwise they would be lying.
Man.
Every other time, it's a single one on a single arm. And the problem is, look, the idea here, the concept of this, reading your brain signals,
Reading your
traveling
brain
through your
signals.
arm, yeah, it's
This is
incredible. It's
amazing.
an incredible concept. Now, if it was the
sure
size
you've
of like
seen-
a wristband or something, like a comfortable wristband, that's one thing. But a giant mechanical monstrosity
Anthony,
like
this is not a
on my wrist?
monstrosity. This is
Hell no.
first of
Hell
all, this thing is just like in research right now. And that even research, this is not like huge at all for the first thing that works. Think about it, like this is going to get smaller and smaller, of course, but for the first research thing, this doesn't look ginormous. This
Good luck
is just,
with that.
oh man.
Good luck.
You just look back at the VR stats. Look back at how the VR started back in 1964, just for a second. That's when the first one was introduced, and they were gigantic. And then it's been a long way. I agree with Sebastian that this is the very first prototype to show a concept of proof of concept, basically.
I could have looked at this and just I could have saved Zuckerberg $500 million up to $1 billion. That's how much they paid for Control Labs, between $500 million and $1 billion for Control Labs. And I could have saved him that just looking at this and been like, nah, dude, this ain't gonna fly. You're already asking people to put a ginormous thing on their head. Now you're gonna ask them to put a ginormous thing on each individual wrist? Nah, dude.
Wow.
I mean, I know there's going to be some people out there that'll want, and you guys think it's going to be miniaturized that quickly?
It's not so-
Why
it's
why
not
would
so
they show
huge.
it so ginormous?
Is that
Why
so-
would they show it this
Anthony,
ginormous?
Anthony, I
I've
have the
seen
feeling.
smartphones.
I have the feeling today you are on a rage, man. Like, can you remember this movie with Michael Douglas called Falling
Yeah,
Down?
exactly.
Here.
Yes,
Let me
that's
show.
kind of the way I am right
Yeah,
now.
exactly. Let me show you that right now. Okay, this is the movie. Michael
know,
Douglas
yeah,
Falling Down.
exactly.
He's
Great
he's
movie.
pissed, you know.
I love
Michael
that
Douglas
film.
is friggin' pissed,
Awesome.
and he's like, it's enough. And this is Anthony
I'm
today.
true serum. I'm the true serum. I'm going to deliver you the truth. This is a
Steve, how's the popcorn?
Sorry. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of like what Facebook is doing in VR. I think they're doing a lot of incredible things. This is a swing and a miss. A swing and a miss. Sorry.
Wow.
Maybe,
Gonna get-
maybe
the
20
chief
years from now,
scientist
we
is
can
like
miniaturize it.
wow.
Even if it gets half
Crying
as
right
small
now.
as it is right now, even if it's just literally like,
Oh, not
if
half
it
as-
gets like 50% smaller, which is definitely doable, it'd just be like a smartwatch. Surely it doesn't even look that big, really, does it? I mean, anyone
Look at
seen
the
Knight
individual
Rider? Michael
locking
Knight?
connections that go all around it. I think it's part of the reason why they're not required by law to show you exactly how ginormous it is. The reason
This
they're
is not
showing you
ginormous
it's
at
so
all.
ginormous
Th-
is
this is-
because they know that they can't miniaturize it much more than that. So they're going to just be like, yeah, it's a ginormous thing you're going to put on your wrist.
Why
but we
would you?
think-
Why would
we
you not
think
be
it's
able to
gonna offer so
miniaturize
many
it? Why would you not?
incredible
Why would
abilities,
you
but
not be
you're
able to
gonna put
miniaturize
ginormous
it?
thing
Everything is
wrist.
getting miniaturized. Why would you not be able to miniaturize it? Are you kidding me?
But also, you're putting it on your wrist as opposed to holding two ginormous controllers. Isn't that the point?
Isn't
though?
that what you
Basically,
wanted, Anthony?
You're not
No.
holding anything.
I want
would
a
rather have
lack
it on
of
my wrist.
friction. This
than
is
hold
the
something.
very definition of friction. Now, if I wanted to be a bodybuilder with my forearms, like if I want to, like, I'm absolutely signing up for this.
Man, this is going to be like in your normal watch in the future. Like I'm wearing this very small thing here right now. This is what's going to be.
Yeah,
in
if
the
it was
future.
that small, it'd be all gravy. But obviously, if it had capabilities of being that small, they would advertise it in that way. The fact that they're not advertising, you guys got to freeze frame some of these images to see how ginormous this thing is.
Maybe she just got small arms.
Okay.
This
Now I have
huge.
to ask again. Here our viewers here. Are you with Anthony that this is a complete failure? Please write Team Anthony. And if you think this is pretty cool, pretty amazing, please write Team.
Everyone else.
What?
Yeah.
Team everybody else.
Team everybody else. Team everybody else.
Sanity.
Yeah, team Sanity or Team everyone else, please. Or if you're with Anthony and this is complete shit, Team Anthony. Let's see
The concept
how
is great.
this.
The concept is great. I want to be clear. The concept is great. The idea is great. Execution, complete and utter fail.
Wow.
Well, let's think about it just from the perspective of the person who is in this video. He was born without an arm or without a hand.
Wow.
He doesn't have an alternative.
You're really going to do that to me? No.
Here, Team everyone
How
else. Exactly,
amazing
Marcus.
is it
Exactly.
that this person
Totally
was
agreed.
able to move every single finger where he was
Yeah.
never been able to do it in his life. You think this oversized
Sanity, yeah.
watch is going to stop him?
Team
I don't
Tetiana.
think so.
Team Sanity. Team the world. It seems like the world is against you today, dear Anthony.
Team underestimating how ginormous this thing really is and how much it weighs.
It is an amazing
Team
brain
Seb. Yes,
exercise,
Team
though,
Seb.
Anthony. I love thinking about these perspectives. I don't think I would ever think about them without
Team
you.
MRTV.
Thank
I
you.
like Team MRTV. Team No Facebook. I love that too.
Don't
my
get
God.
started, please.
Team Popeye.
Oh my God. Oh, there's some Team Anthony, so you're not alone, Anthony. Very good, very good. What an amazing show. Today we have some fire. I can feel it. It's because Anthony had to wait for 1 hour before the show went on here. All right, cool. Very, very exciting show today. So, are we good to leave that topic? Let's go to the next, controversial topic that we're going to find out what Anthony thinks about. Let's talk about the Vive tracker. So, the Vive tracker, let me show it to you. Here it is. This is the Vive tracker. This is modded here now to the Valve Index. And here is a video with Mike from the Oasis, checking it out on the Vive Index. And yeah, the story behind this here is that the facial tracker, I have it here, the facial tracker that Vive is selling right now for $129 and 439 euros. Actually, you can mod it to all the other headsets as well, but it was only said that you can use it with the Vive and the Vive Pro. But I also have already modded it to the Quest 2. It works fantastic, and actually, this device is pretty amazing for facial tracking. It works really well, and yeah, I think it's a cool device. What is your controversial thought about this, Anthony?
Well, the controversial thing about that is attachments, add-ons, accessories, the reality is if we're really honest about it, this is one of those gee whiz things that is super cool for somebody that's in VR chat or some special program that's actually going to authorize use of this and allow it into the program. It's one of those, oh, look, that dude has freaking facial tracking. Look at his mouth moving around. That is so cool. It's one of these gee whiz things. It's really cool. It is. But for it to really, for this technology to really matter to matter in a major sort of a way, it has to be ubiquitous. It has to be you need an entire platform. All these add-ons and attachments, I know they're great for doing another YouTube video, but in terms of really moving the needle for VR, it's all these attachments, no.
No, Anthony is totally against the whole thing.
But I kind of have to, I'm skeptical about this too for them at the moment, because why do we need the technology like this? Why do we need other people in VR to see our mouth move? To increase the realism and the feel that you're there talking to this person, let's say. That means that this kind of technology needs to be subtle. You shouldn't be looking at someone having over-exaggerated facial movements or movements of the mouth and say, oh, look, he has the facial tracker. No, it's supposed to be subtle. You shouldn't even notice that it's happening for it to actually have the desired effect. While now, I think this is all the people would notice, is that your mouth is moving, especially because it's not actually very accurate.
No, it is.
At least
No,
based on the
it
videos
is
I
really
saw.
accurate. It is good.
Well,
You can even see your tongue.
I saw it was moving at the same time, but it wasn't moving the same way. It wasn't moving
no,
like
it
I
dep-
couldn't. If
it
you could
depends.
read the lips, like you wouldn't be able to read the lips of this 3D avatar and
Actually, you
understand
could.
what you're saying.
Actually, it's really good. It depends on the avatar. If the avatar is rigged in a way that it could totally get all these 39 movements that the device is like tracking, it's very good. Really, I have to step in there for HTC. I mean, I seldom do this, but I do have to step in. This device is really good, and if you have an avatar that is rigged in the right way, it looks amazing. Yes.
I will
Yeah.
have to try it then, because I was thinking from the perspective, I'll bring it back just for a second to language learning. One of the important aspects of learning from like the speakers to see how their mouth moves, to understand how they pronounce it. And that's one of the great potentials of this technology, to bring this into language learning in VR, if you actually can see how their mouth moves. But for that, it has to be extremely accurate.
It is.
Now, you tried it with Quest 2 as well, or did you only try it with Vive?
I also tried it with the Quest 2, and yeah, you
Maybe
can
it wasn't so-
mod it onto all kinds of different headsets. So it's pretty cool. So I like it. I think it's great that there is the chance now to put this, and I think this has like so much potential. It's not just okay, this guy has a mouth now. It really feels different if you can see an avatar that has your facial expressions. It's such a difference to meet somebody in VR who has this, and yeah, instead of like having some mouth that doesn't move at all. It's going to be standard soon, I'm sure. This is so good, and I think it's cool that you can actually mod this now to all your headsets, no matter what kind of headset you have. If you have the G2, it works. If you have the Quest 2, it works.
Don't you think it's a bit of a fail that it works on everything but the Cosmos? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Epic fail.
No,
yeah.
but you can.
Because it's going to affect the tracking. Like the tracking's bad enough as it is, and I just find that quite funny personally.
Yeah, you could also track. You could also attach it to the Cosmos. You can also mod it to the Cosmos, but it's not working so well. It's This is
Not
HTC.
good, is it, really?
This is HTC, but well, I think it's cool that you have now the chance, and it's not like so super expensive, right? $129 is okay, especially
That's expensive.
No, I don't think so.
No, it is.
If you are a fan of VR chat, and if you're doing it every day, $129 is going to be amazing, because it's
Just wait until the next Quest, and then you'll get it integrated.
No, yeah, but you don't want to wait so long. You don't want to wait.
It's not going to be long. It'll be next year.
but you can have
Or
it
even
now
this year with the Quest 2.
We discussed
Pro.
it. Maybe this year.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyways,
Zuckerberg, remember he talked about like how the avatars are going to be such a big deal for their future.
Right.
And the thing is, I don't know if it was on your show or some other show that I did, but I was talking about how, have you seen those Facebook headsets where it has the Kylo Ren thing that comes down to like film the mouth and all that for the those advanced avatars? And I was like, yeah,
Right.
but are we going to get
Right.
these headsets that have this like Kylo Ren thing coming down? And gaming science teacher explained to me, no, that's just used to train their like neural network algorithm
right.
to train their model, but that future headsets will just have some little cameras that are angled downward that are hitting your mouth area and tracking it that way. And see, that's what I think we need. I think it's got to be ubiquitous. Like all these little add-ons, it's great. We got to push the boundaries of VR, and this is wonderful for people that are pushing the boundaries. It's wonderful for people that are doing like animation, mocap, rigging, and they're like creating. There's amazing things people can do. They can make their own animated commercials with like animated anamorphic things with talking and all that, and this is perfect for that. But in terms of actual mainstream VR and this changing the game for like Rec Room and stuff, it's got to be built into the headset long term.
Yeah, can I just say as well, because I want to just quickly say, like from my point of view, like we need this technology, right? This is something that I am not excited about at all, but we still need it. It's a bit like having a flash for a camera. Like we really need. But it's one of those things. I'd imagine once you've tried it, because obviously Seb, you've tried it. I've seen a few other YouTubers try it, and it's one of those things that once you've done it, that is it. You're not going to go back, because it's going to seem really weird just staring at this avatar, these weeble wobbles as you call them, Anthony, which I love. And hang on, there's no facial expression. It's weird. It's going to seem strange very quickly. So we need it, but it's not something that's kind of exciting. It's kind of like a thing that's going to be really like, oh God, facial tracking, and it's just going to be this. We're just going to have it on every headset, and it's just going to be like, yeah, well, that's just how it is.
Right.
And that's why
it's going to happen. And you know what? Who is already one step ahead of this whole thing? Facebook. And that's the next topic. Let me show you something really unbelievable. So look at my screen right now. Facebook gives sneak peek of new avatar system for Quest. So Quest is going to do this. Facebook is going to do Horizon, right? This is the social network, the social VR thing that Facebook is working on. And they have just shown off their new avatars on SXSW 2021 today. And I'm going to show you that right now, including audio. And the thing is, what you're going to see right now is being done on Quest without facial tracking. But you will see that the movements that these avatars make with their mouth is perfectly fitting the audio, what they say, and that without facial tracking. It's unbelievable. So let's have a look into this.
Avatars that we're going to be bringing into Facebook Horizon.
All hell the Zuckernator.
I can definitely see it too. I think we're a lot spiffier today than we usually are in Horizon.
Are we watching it now?
I really love this
Yes,
new
yes,
style.
we're watching it
I
now.
feel
Just a
like
sec,
I can
just a sec.
recognize
Oh,
you
yeah.
immediately
We have it tonight.
and just feel like you're really here with me. There is so much
Check
about
out
your
the mouth
expression and
movement.
about
It
how you show up in
perfectly
this
fits
space
what they're
that
talking
really
about.
overcomes
And
the
this is
distance
just
between us right
AI.
now. Can you
This
tell
is
me a
just
little bit more about
AI,
what's changing with these
like
avatars?
checking the
I'm
audio
pretty excited about
and
this.
making
There's just
exactly
so
the
much
right mouth
engineering
movements.
work
This is
that
without
goes
facial
into
tracking.
making
This is like
avatars
mind-blowing
like
in
this
my
feel
opinion. Do you see that right now on
natural
the
and
screen?
expressive. The expressiveness and the face.
Yeah, it's great. It's
and
something we
how-
need,
how
but
we
it's
look.
it's not. It
incredible.
doesn't excite me that
Basically like
much.
creating
It
an
excites me
animated
like
movie.
so
There's
much.
lighting,
That's-
there's
that they
rigging,
can
Just
do
when
it.
are we going to use
Yeah,
this
that
in
looks
gaming?
animation.
Yeah,
Gaming.
no, we're going to use
Social
this in
VR.
social
Mostly
VR. We're going to
social
meet
VR.
our friends in
Every
social
But that's-
VR.
scene,
Yeah, that's a whole different
you-
niche,
you
though.
have
That's
to
not
do it
like gaming so
live
much,
for a
but social
performer
VR is like a
who's
completely
wildly
different.
random
Like it's.
human.
But
it's
this
quite
is how you get a
separate.
billion people in VR.
Yeah.
The only way you're getting
Yeah.
a billion people in VR is with this kind of tech where grandma can be in your living room, she's sitting on
Right,
your sofa,
exactly.
and her mouth is moving freaking flawlessly. Every micromillimeter of grandma is fully represented.
And think
especially
about it. They
now.
make this. They make this with audio. This is incredible. So they are even in front of HTC that needs a tracker for this. They do it with audio. I must really say you can tell that Facebook has 10,000 people working on VR and AR. No, honestly, this is really mind blowing in my opinion. Like, and the thing is, what you see here right now, these new avatars, they are not only on Facebook Horizon. Every single developer can use these avatars for their own games as long as they put the game on Quest. Wow, mind blowing
Yeah,
in my
like
opinion.
Poker Stars VR. Poker Stars
example?
VR. Think of, would be a great one for that.
So, well, I must really say I'm really amazed by this kind of science that's behind that, right? To make the mouth move like this based on the audio without facial tracking. What do you think? Are you as excited as me, or am I
very
too
it's
over?
brilliant. It is. It's brilliant, but it's one of those things that maybe just wait a little longer and for people who, unless you really need it for conference calls or like VR chat, which is a niche, admittedly. But I think for most of us, we'll just wait until the next generation of VR headsets because it's going to be integrated. I think this thing, the going down to the bottom, God, I would break that straight away as soon as I put my VR headset down and forget it's that.
Supposedly that's not going to be there though, right? Like that's what gaming science teacher was saying, that's only just to train their neural network models.
What do you mean?
Supposedly.
Like what is
The thing that's coming down that you're talking about.
Yeah, that's an attachment, isn't it? It has to always be there, isn't it?
Oh, the
Yeah.
attachment, the
And
Vive.
I mean, Seb, you've had that on your headset, haven't you?
Right.
Have you nearly knocked it? Is it flimsy? I mean, when you put
No.
your headset down, you're not going to be able to sort of like balance it somehow
Yeah, right.
because it's in the way.
That's true. That's true.
We are turning into cyber
Right.
people at a certain point
You're
with
right.
all these
Yeah,
attachments.
but I still like it. I still think it's cool that you have this kind of. If you want it, you can have it right now for not so much money. So I think it's cool. But I'm even more impressed that Facebook does this without that thing. That's really incredible. So they're
I wanna
winning.
point
Facebook is
something.
winning. I must admit it.
Sorry. Sorry, Sebastian.
Yep.
Hope I didn't interrupt you. Yeah,
No.
just thinking about something, and I thought I would say it out loud because, like, women in gaming and in online games, they're statistically facing much more harassment,
Right.
and that also extends to social VR, especially when you're in the rooms that you're not, dealing with people your friends, but you're just in the common rooms. There's a lot of
Right.
harassment there.
That sucks.
And there are options, there are things that you can do. There are, you can mute people. Sometimes they get kicked out, but I think there is like a way to mute some of them. I don't know, I can't stop thinking about how, like, facing someone, saying some things and actually see them mouth them would somehow probably make it even worse.
Yeah,
Because
you're
that
right,
would
you're
make
right.
it feel more real. Do you know what I mean?
I totally
Like,
get it.
I can't stop
I totally get
thinking
it.
about it, because then what, you mute them, but you can still see them talking to you.
Right.
But you know what's
It
interesting,
makes me very
Tetiana?
uncomfortable.
A long time ago, there was this thing called the original Xbox, and they had the very first iteration of Xbox Live, like when they were doing a beta for, this is like 2002 or something. I can't even remember when it was, but they would have all these different voices that you could choose from. You could change your voice. So I anticipate we're eventually going to get to this point in time where when you're interacting with somebody on anything in VR, you'll have no idea if they're a woman or not, regardless of what their voice is, because people will have different voice changing things. So you're never going to really know if you're with a woman or a man or whoever. Anybody could be anything at any time.
So
Right.
that you're saying that basically
I'm saying
the
that'll
only way
help.
for
That'll
women
help.
to be safe in the online space is to disguise that they're women?
No, well, no one will know if you're a woman or not. And everybody will just assume you're probably a man. So I don't know. I think it might help.
Right. But
I wish I didn't have to have everybody assume that I'm a man to be comfortable in social VR, but that's a different
Totally agree.
conversation.
Tatiana, you know what? I totally agree
It's an
with you.
educational.
And I think this would even be worse if somebody would like harass women. And that is a big problem in online, right? Not only online, but in general, but in online.
Do you think
even
in some
more.
ways, Tatiana, like if someone was being a bit sleazy, and like giving you some sort of signal, you would know more. You'd have an idea better because of that facial recognition. You can go bye, rather than them being this weird sort of like blank. You'd be able to read the signals better and then realize straight away that this is not good. I'm going to get out of here, rather than it being. I think in some ways, there's less to hide, which I think is a good thing.
I
in a
just think that
sense.
it would make
True.
it even more real, because that's still
then that's
virtual
good.
reality.
That's good,
And
because,
then
like-
sometimes you have the luxury to ignore some things, even though I would prefer I didn't have to ignore anything. But sometimes you can if it's not too annoying. But I feel like the more expressive our nonverbal communication or verbal communication can become, the more, they're so blurry in VR. People feel like they can do so much more in VR than they would allow themselves to do in real life. And which is, VR is real life. There are real people there.
Right.
Their
right.
words are real, their behavior is real, but somehow it feels like the borders are different.
Right.
And
Agreed.
having these extra ways of communication make it feel more real too, on both sides. So on both the people who do it and who is directed towards. So that's just what I was.
I agree.
Yeah.
It would feel
thinking
more
about.
real. Like a real person that would harass you online, and it would even feel more real, like he's there, but he's not there, right? So it makes it easier for him. But on Facebook Horizon, you're always wearing the body cam that is like recording everything. And if somebody harasses you, you click on the button, and the Facebook moderator is going to be there and going to ban this bad person forever. So probably that is
I
not
like
so
that.
bad. That is not so bad. In this kind of thing,
Yeah,
that is
I
not so
think
bad, right?
It'll actually make it more obvious who are the dodgy people and who
You're
are not,
right,
because
you're
you're going
right.
to be able to sense that with the body language. You'll be like, yeah, this guy's dodgy.
And
Or girl.
eventually,
Could be a girl. Be harassing a bloke, by the way. Just thought I'd put that in there.
Oh, wow. This is going to be very interesting times, which are coming here to us. Yeah. Okay. So, Anthony, you made it so far into the show. I guess for the last topic, you're going to stay here.
I'll just try to finish it out.
Yeah, we're going to finish
Please
soon.
stay, Anthony. We
Yeah.
need you here.
We need you here for the
Yeah.
controversial
I want to continue
topics.
to rant. And
Please
complain
do.
about
I love
Yeah,
it.
we need you. We need you. Wow, and we got a record 237 people watching this live because they need this Ranthony here.
Yes.
Okay, so the next topic is the last one, and it's a big one. So let's have a look at the Road to VR article. Newly published Valve patent envisions wireless and standalone versions of Index and new head mounts. Wow. So Valve is working on the next Index headset, and the patent that was granted to Valve envisions a new headset that could be wireless or standalone. The thing was filed back in September 2020, so that's a year after the launch of the Valve Index. So they have been working on it and they keep working on it. The patent covers a lot of ground, ranging from wireless and standalone versions of the headsets. Very interesting. And we see 3 major versions of an Index-like headset, all of which include a large section on the rear of the head strap, which the patent says could contain hardware for operating the headset either wirelessly or in a standalone fashion. So let's have a look here at this first picture here. And in this first picture, you can see something that looks very, very similar like the Valve Index. So you have those Valve Index headsets that are floating above your ears. You have that typical kind of shape, and in the back you have that area which probably is going to hold the battery, for example, for a standalone headset, or simply like all the electronics that you would need for that, making that whole thing wireless. Very cool. Then the second picture here, it shows another version. It has a more sleek looking rear section on the headset, out of which a spring-loaded pad protrudes for gripping underneath the occipital bone. So let's have a look at this one. Really cool, very interesting. Actually, I think this looks very comfortable. This kind of pad with that spring-loaded mechanism, which would hold your occipital bone. This looks cool, and that is the second model that we see here. And then we have a third one. And the third version of the headset seen in the patent has a rigid pad for gripping the occipital lobe, along with 2 dials on the same plane for adjusting the side and top straps. And this here looks simply like this. For all the people who are listening that as an audio podcast, check out MRTV if you would like to see the video version of this podcast. And it's a very, very good channel in general. So yeah, this is the third version here of the headset. Wow, cool, very cool. So in the latter 2 cases, it would appear that an objective of the design, beyond being more comfortable, may be to make room for wireless or standalone components that are kept somewhat away from the user's head, potentially in order to facilitate heat dissipation. Makes so much sense, because when you're on a wireless headset, you have the problem that this is being run by mobile SoCs, right? And well, they are prone to heat, to overheating. So it makes sense that you want to put them far away from the head itself so that you have more airflow and that they could be cooled down. Anyways, this article, in the end, it says this whole suggests that Valve is still actively doing research and development on VR hardware. Exciting. So I want to ask you, what do you think? Is the next Valve Index, the Index 2, is it going to be a wireless Valve Index that connects with your computer wirelessly to play Steam VR games? Or is it a complete standalone headset that competes with the Quest 2 and which is completely standalone and you don't need a gaming PC? What do you think?
Firstly, can I just say, I'm going to jump in actually before the Ranthony starts. I don't know you building up for one or not, but basically, something that really drives me insane, and that is, I think everybody agrees with me on this. I'm sure they will. Is that's the sweet spot of all headsets, and particularly the Reverb G2. It's hard to maintain that sweet spot, especially if you're in a game. So I think it's great that they're paying particular attention to cupping the head, making the headset secure, because comfort is all about your eyes as well, of course. So, you need to maintain your eyes in the exact same position. And by the looks of this incredible strap at the top, as well at the bottom, and the way it cups you the back of the bone there, that's probably the best I've seen so far in terms of, I know it's only a patent at the moment, but it looks like that's what we need to, because the headset, it needs to just stay where it is, for God's sake. The amount of times, even when I don't know what you guys are like, but when I'm sat down flying, I'm like constantly moving it around just to try and get into the sweet spot. And a lot of people with the Reverb G2, when they wear it, that this back strap needs to go quite low down. A lot of people wear it like this, and it's wrong. You need to have it right below to cut the back of that bone, and it's not obvious with this strap. Something like this would make it a lot easier for everybody to get themselves right into that sweet spot. So that's the first thing I was thinking of. There's loads of other things, actually, but I'll just leave it there to see what people think of that. But yeah, very important.
Right. So, Anthony and Tetiana, what do you think is going to happen? Is it going to be like a wireless headset, or is it going to be like a standalone headset? What are your thoughts?
I think it'll be both.
Both?
How can it be both, though? If it's a standalone headset, then what is it going to connect to its own library, or is it going to connect to Steam from the actual headset? Because I don't know. I can see that backside is pretty bulky already, but I don't know if it will be enough to pack enough hardware to actually be standalone on the quality that we all expect. So, but it might be enough to actually run it wirelessly and connect it to PC. So that would probably be my expectation.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Unless I misunderstand the standalone part. Like how would it work standalone? So
standalone would be like the Quest.
So
It'd have a Snapdragon and everything.
Exactly.
Okay, but standalone. Okay, for Quest 2, it has its own library. For the games that work on Quest 2, they are not for computers, so they have much lower qualities and graphics and everything. But then it can be wireless, connecting to the hardware wirelessly of the computer. If this headset is standalone, as you say, does it mean it's going to start its own library of lower quality games, or how is it going?
That seems hard to imagine.
That is the good question. That would be hard, right? Anthony, what do you think? What do you think the Index 2 is going to be like?
Yeah, so I think I would lean way more towards wireless than standalone in terms of that, as far as that's concerned. But we remember a long time ago, Gaben was in this one interview. It was like a specifically VR interview. And it was like Gabe and like 3 other guys, and they were at this table and they were being interviewed. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. It was like a famous interview where they talked a lot about VR. Even at one point in that interview, Gabe actually mentioned headsets having 200 hertz, 300 hertz refresh rates and stuff. But one of the things that he mentioned in this interview, which was like 2017, maybe it was a long time ago, he said, wireless is a solved problem. This was a famous line that Gaben uttered. Wireless is a solved problem. Yet, where's the wireless headset? So this might finally be that. So this future Index could be wireless. And something I've always thought is when you see these different like TP Cast, like these different wireless add-on devices, or like the Intel one or whatever, you end up with this attachment. Again, we get into the whole attachment thing. You have an attachment on the top. You have you have a transmitter, and you have a receiver that's on top. And I've always thought, well, we have this thing that's on our head, and we have a strap that's like going back over here. Like, why can't we just beld the antenna or the transmitter or whatever, or the receiver, beld it into the actual headset itself so that everybody has a wireless headset? You don't have to buy some attachment and add it later. And it's just all integrated, and it's designed very well. One of the interesting things about this patent is it talks about potentially 2 different antennas, an antenna on the front and an antenna on the back. And why would it need 2 different antennas? Well, like TP Cast and some of these different wireless things, it's very much line of sight. And so if you block line of sight, it's a problem. So if you have an antenna on the front of the headset, the guy turns all the way around like that. Now you have this secondary antenna on the back, and it can communicate either way. So it's possibly a better design, a better idea here from that antenna standpoint and latency and all of that. So I think that's a really cool idea. What I'm really shocked by, though, this whole entire thing, I honestly did not believe that Valve was that interested in continuing to make VR headset after VR headset after VR headset, other than the brain-computer interface stuff. Like, remember the brain-computer, like Gaben has always been like super hyped into brain-computer interface. And recently, when he was talking more about brain-computer interface and how it's going to be an extinction level event and all this stuff like that, we're talking about gigantic things on your wrist, right? Wouldn't it be better to just have all that integrated into your head rather than a gigantic thing on your wrist? But looking at these patents, like I looked at them, I spent weeks just scouring these patents. No, I spent like 10 minutes, but looking at it, I did not notice anything about brain-computer interface anywhere. So I guess they're not, that doesn't necessarily mean anything, but I'm kind of surprised because I thought that was the whole Trojan horse thing that was going to happen.
Can I just say, it has to have a high resolution. Can we? I'm just going to go. I know the wireless and standalone thing is a massive, that's the thing at the moment, the top of the VR list for a lot of people. But I don't care about that. I just want it to have a really good high resolution OLED screen because we need OLED VR. Why is that not here? We've got it on our bloody phones, for goodness sake. Why can't we have it in a VR headset? It's about time. And I think comfort is the biggest thing for VR right now. We need smaller headsets, lighter headsets. It needs to be comfortable. The sweet spot needs to be bigger and the high resolution. If they had all that, but it was the same as the Valve Index 1, I would buy one tomorrow. Yep. I really would.
Absolutely. That's for sure. And let's talk more about this. Is it going to be a standalone headset or is it going to be wireless? I'm also in the wireless area, in the wireless team wireless, because it doesn't make team wireless. Yeah, today we're all about teams, but I think we're all on. I think we're all on team wireless because I cannot see like Valve starting a whole new store with all these mobile games. It doesn't make sense, right? They have this amazing store. They have this really great store, which is Steam VR, which is like basically the VR store for PSVR gaming. Wouldn't make sense to kind of make up another store now with lesser games.
I can make an argument for it, though.
Yes, come on, let's fight again here. It's again Team Anthony versus Team Sebastian. Come on, give it to me, give it to me.
Well, here's the thing. I don't actually believe this is going to happen, but here's the argument that I would make for that. So, Sebastian,
yep. Here
we're going to continue to get quest after quest after quest, right?
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's going to keep happening, right? So we're going to get endless quests for that to the end of time. We're going to continue to get quests. The mobile chips are going to get better and better and better, and eventually it's going to get to the point where PC is always going to be better, no question, but your average regular person is going to be satisfied enough with the mobile chip by the time we're on like Quest 6 or something like that. And then if you compare that to the Valve side of the coin, see if VR becomes this really big thing, eventually you'd be like, well, the downside with Valve is you need an entire computer and everything. So if Valve wanted to somehow figure out, I'm saying this is long term, this is like a 10-year future idea, where if they think eventually this is going to be a problem that it requires a computer, because eventually people are just going to go away from computers. I know it sounds crazy.
No
it
way.
Sounds
not
crazy.
a chance.
Okay. Now my point.
Not Simmers.
Now
not
my
Simmers.
point
How
is.
dare you say that, Tony?
Now my point is the following. So Team Wireless. The thing is, forget computers. Everything is going to come from the cloud. Everything is going to come from the cloud. Yes, Steve, also your games are going to be streamed from the cloud.
Yeah.
Not in 10 years. No,
I don't mind
not
that
in 10
if
years.
it
I'm
works.
playing my flat games on Stadia, and it works just as if I would have like 2080
what happens
here.
then? What happens when you have that day off? You've been working a week. You want to play your favorite games, and you've got no internet, or so the service are down.
I have internet everywhere. I have
coming
internet
down.
everywhere. I have fast internet everywhere. There's no question. No, there's
Yeah,
no
but
place I'm going.
Most
There's no
people
internet.
don't.
No.
Steve,
Most people have.
No.
Here's a question.
Okay.
Can I ask Steve a question?
Yes.
Steve, how do you listen to music? Of course you do.
Pretty much every
How do
day.
you listen to music?
Yeah.
Do you have like a large collection of MP3 or like files on your hard drive, or do you listen
I'm
to
a bit
on
old
Spotify?
school. I have CDs.
No,
and
I
also
don't
have
believe you. Do
an
you listen to
iPod.
any
Yeah,
kind
you
of
just
streaming?
say that. You just say
No,
that.
Steve,
That's literally the
Steve,
response.
Steve. Where do you watch your movies?
To be fair, actually, I use my phone loads for like music and stuff. I have MP3s on my phone all the time.
Yeah, right. Anyways,
device and
let
stuff.
me keep on continuing my point now. So, in my
I do stream
opinion,
as well, of course I do.
Wow, today there's action. I love it. In my opinion, this Index 2 is going to be a Valve Index that is connected to a computer still, to your computer, to your gaming PC, and you will be able to stream your your games, your Steam VR games from your gaming PC wirelessly to your Valve Index 2. So basically, it's a Valve Index like the one we have, probably with less God rays, but it's going to be wireless. That's going to be the big thing, and I don't think it's going to be a standalone headset like the Quest, because it doesn't make sense that now Valve suddenly is going to start with their own mobile VR game store. It doesn't make sense. They have an amazing library of games in Steam VR. So Valve Index 2 going to be that wireless headset that you will connect with your gaming PC. But cloud streaming is going to happen. I'm using it right now. Stadia is amazing, actually. And it's going to happen for VR as well. It's happening right now already with Plutosphere, right? With this other company from France who's doing that, who rent out the PCs, the online PCs. So this is going to happen. So I believe that the Index 3... The Index 3 is not going to stream from your gaming PC. It's going to stream from the cloud. All of the Steam VR games that are out there are going to be rendered in the cloud, and that's going to be the Valve Index 3. So the Valve Index 2 is going to be that bridge headset that still is going to connect to your local PC, but the Index 3 is going to be complete cloud gaming. They can still keep on working with their Steam VR library, and they never have to think about making up something like the Quest store with all these mobile games. Simply keep the goodness coming up with the gaming, with the PC VR games, and it's simply going to move to the cloud, and that is going to be
peace, the
big.
RTX 3090.
Yeah, forget it. It's ridiculous that I have to buy that bulky thing, and I paid thousands of dollars for it, and I'm going to put it into this box, which is my PC.
Graphics, honestly, Tony, I disagree. Graphics are so important, not just to be one of those, not to flex your graphics card or not to show you as a demonstration, but it's immersion. Immersion means visuals, and visuals mean believability of the whole environment. You know, when I play
immersion.
Yeah,
visuals mean immersion. Honestly, yes, I think if you gave me my body in VR in a freaking 220-degree FOV like and everything was black and white and made with stick figures, I think I would be more immersed, because the field of view would be ginormous. I'd be seeing my body, even if everything was made out of like wireframes. I don't think
it'd be great
for
about 10 minutes. And it'd be like, yeah, this is all right. But then where's my games? Where's my high fidelity games after I've... It's almost like when I first tried VR with the robot thing and all that. It was amazing for the first 10 minutes, but then I wanted more. I wanted more and more. And, you know, the Bioshock that you mentioned at the start, Far Cry, Assassin's Creed, all those big titles, people love them because they are beautiful games and they are lifelike, and we want that in VR. We won't, you know.
I used to be a graphics whore. I really did, and I used to hate it. I absolutely hated it when like Nintendo would come out with something like the Game Boy Advance or something, and it would be like 10 years behind everything else, and it would be so freaking popular. And I'd be like, why do people? I'd be like, PlayStation Vita, these graphics are so freaking awesome, but people are playing Game Boy Advance. What the hell? Or like the DS or something. Like, shouldn't the Vita win? The graphics are so incredible. The problem is, graphic whores like us, we're the minority, man. We're a severe minority. When you get into the great wide open seas of like 1 billion people in VR and all that, I just keep bringing up the Nintendo Switch. I'll go to different people's houses and everybody's playing the Nintendo Switch. And I'm like, these graphics are kind of lame, but everybody's having fun. The bottom line is, the vast majority of people out there don't have this graphic whore need that some of us have. And I know you're super hardcore in it, and I used to be the same type. I wanted the best. I wanted perfection. You know, I want like push the envelope, man. These freaking low end crap, it's drawing us down. It's taking us back. I want the future, right? But the great wide open masses, they just don't care that much about graphics. And I finally decided, okay, fine. I don't care that much about graphics either. I'm just gonna like.
I think even the word graphics, the graphics, that word graphics, I hate it. Actually, it sounds pathetic. It's not about graphics. It's the visuals. It's the atmosphere. It's the environment that you're in. obviously for a flight sim, you think graphics are not important, but they really are, especially because your other senses when you're playing a game or you're not there, so you need to overdrive your other senses and to make you feel like you're there. Like I was standing on the top of the one of the levels in Saints and Sinners the other day, and I saw the light refracting off the sort of like this chandelier and back down. I could see the dust in the air, and for a moment I was like, oh my god, that looks amazing. And in the Quest it looks crap, quite honestly, and I didn't feel like I was there at all. I just felt like I was, it was great because I had a tethered headset, an untethered headset, but it's not just because I want to sort of have the best graphics. It's because of what it means to me, what it means to the whole experience, honestly.
I want to add something to that too, because I think I completely understand this point that Steve is making. In your case, Steve, the graphics and the realism is the whole point of the flight sim. The realism, the more realistic it is, the better it is. So I totally understand it. And it's probably very similar to most of the sims that actually strive to be realistic. Like I mentioned the CPR at the very beginning. I mean, yeah, you can do it with like polygonal graphics, but if it was like super hyper realistic man laying down here, oh my gosh, I gotta save him! Come on, like
I have super hyper realistic women in my VR headset.
Incredible.
But not all games are like that. There are games that the whole point of them is not to be like extremely super realistic, but action, adventure, like being immersed through different senses, not just the visual senses, but more like emotional and like the sense of like involvement in the adventure. And not all games require hyper realistic graphics for that. So maybe that's where this argument is coming from. What Tony is saying with Nintendo, nobody cares about how realistic those little bumble humans are.
But why are we talking about this in general? Because everything will look amazing, because everything is going to be streamed from the cloud, and we're not going to have those mobile chips. This is right now. This is right now. Yes.
It'll be mainstream though. When do you think it'll be mainstream? For Joe Smith, who lives in Scotland in his house, and he loves games as much as you do, but he has really crap internet.
Joe Blow.
10 years.
Joe Blow. No, it's not going to be 10 years. No. So let's say
10 years.
Let's say next year the Index 2 is going to come out and it's going to be just wirelessly connected to your gaming PC. Then let's say another 2 or 3 years. So I say this is going to happen in 4 years. In 4 years, so many things are going to happen. It's 4 years. It's like from 2016 until now. Think what happened. We went from the huge Vive to the Quest 2, which cost $299. Yes, in 4 years for sure. And I will tell you, I told you so. I told you so here. In 2000,
and you know what? You really will tell me so, and I will be like, Sebastian, he absolutely called it. It really was only 4 years.
Right, exactly.
Because I will love that. Yeah. But can I make one last point on the graphic thing? Just one last point I want to make. Okay, look, 10 years from now, guys, we're going to have headsets that will provide photo realism. Like we'll be looking out and it'll be no difference from reality, right? It's going to be incredible.
We have that now, though, with a top-end PC.
Nah, no, we don't.
We do. Microsoft Flight Simulator. Try it. You'll be amazed.
Okay, but anyways, so we're going to have this photorealism, right? It's going to be amazing. You're going to be looking at like some kind of jungle scene. It's going to be like, oh my God, this looks like I'm really in the jungle. This looks absolutely perfect. But here's the problem. You're going to look down at one little area or something, and there's going to be some little seam or something. Because the more that they try for hyper-realism, the more the tiniest imperfection is going to throw you out of that immersion. Have you ever been in a VR game where it has like a giant door that like starts closing on you or something, starts going down and it's closing, and you're in VR, you're super immersed, you're like, wow, I'm really here, but you're looking at this door coming down and you're like, that just does not look like a real door coming down at all. And that's the problem with never-ending quest for incredible graphics and photorealism is until it's absolutely effing perfect, the tiniest imperfection is going to throw you out of that immersion. I think if you really want,
I think Half-Life Alyx Half-Life Alex is pretty much damn real to me.
Except the
obviously.
doors. When the doors move wrong, immediately.
Anthony
through the bottom of
hates a
person.
freaking
I got
doors.
an entire
And
episode.
Half-Life,
Many
like the
things,
game is
but
amazing, but the
Half-Life
doors they make the game shit.
Yeah, doors. Epic fail. Epic fail.
Epic fail. Just like the Microsoft research with the thing, with the wristband. Anyways, wow, what an amazing show today. Wow, there was so much action and so much like controversy. I loved it, and I really hope that you out there loved it too. 240 people watching this live right now. This is absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for being here, for enjoying the Next Dimension podcast. We really hope that this is one of your favorite podcasts. If it is, absolutely give it a thumbs up right now. Don't forget the thumbs up. This will help for the YouTube algorithm to tell other people that this is probably something that they should absolutely watch. And also do leave a comment later when this is simply a video. So I want to stop it here right now because, well, this has been a 2-hour show already. And we should not make it too long. Also, you've been waiting for 1 hour for the show to start, Tetiana and Anthony, because of the timing thingy. So I think 2 hours is great. Again, I would like to ask you, if you really enjoy this podcast, please do us a big favor. Open your iPhone and your iPad, go to the podcast app. It's already in your iDevice, and find the Next Dimension podcast. We're there. And if you would give us a 5-star review now, this would really help us out, and more people can find this podcast. Thank you so much, Brandon, for $2. Boomer Ranthony. Ranthony, you do have lots of fans here, and they're giving me money. I love that. All right. All right. Perfect. That has been episode number 14. Absolutely epic. Thank you so much, Tetiana, Steve, and Anthony, for being here again. Thank you so much to all the people who've been watching this live. Do not forget the thumbs up. Do not forget the review. This will help us out. And we're looking forward to see and hear you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Cheers.
Wow. Now, that was an amazing show. And we have 244 people watching us live. This is absolutely amazing. Right?
Well, everybody loves a scandal, huh?
Yeah, right. Everybody loves some controversy here.
We should argue more often.
Yeah,
I
we
think
should.
we'll get
We should just hate each other live, and we're going to have like 300, 400 people, and they're going to love it. Anthony,
Remember how at the beginning, Sebastian, you were like, "Oh, I love it. We are so friendly to each other." We were like,
exactly, and now like, no, damn, fuck. Oh God, this stream just got demonetized for this. No, okay, that's okay. Yeah, right. No, but
that was the
honestly,
first swear word in the whole thing. It almost made
nah,
it.
that was already after show. That doesn't count.
yeah, you're
That's
right.
fine.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah, right. But you know what? I really think it's great also sometimes to have some controversy. I mean, we're still like friends, right? But we can have different opinions, and I think that's totally valid, and it's fun. I really think it's also fun to see some stuff from different angles, right? If we all would think
Definitely, yeah.
wow, the Sony controller is amazing, and okay, next topic, okay, wow. I don't know. It's good.
It's boring like that.
Yeah, right.
It's
So
more honest.
it's really great. And Paradise Decay says Team Jellyfish. Yeah, I think the Jellyfish, they always win, right?
They always do.
They do. They will all the arguments without saying a word. I can change the color for you.
Wow,
Yay.
wow. Yeah, Red, that fits now today's show. Like, wow. Like there was real emotion here today. I love
Every
it.
time you argue,
yeah.
I'm going to change it to change the mood of the conversation.
Right.
Jellyfish will moderate.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you, Oliver Cook. Thank you, Matt Matters. Thank you, Salem Maru, for $10. One for the road. Thank you. That's amazing. Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. Thank you. Thank you, Hard to Get. Thank you, all the people, Paradise Decay, Bean Cheese, RG, Admiral, Snack Bar, all the people who watch this. Please, why don't you tell this to one friend that this podcast is a pretty amazing podcast, and then we can grow and we will be very happy about it. All right, I don't want to drag this on forever. Thank you so much for watching this, and we're going to see each other next week. Bye-bye. Have a great one.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.